Hi there beautiful souls, Avalon here, and I'm doing an unboxing today. One unboxing that I mentioned that I would be doing throughout the period of Litha, which I'm in right now. I'm smack bang sort of in the middle of it. And that is the Mystic Faerie Tarot. Because what I've been trying to do here is utilize as many of my older decks as I can and then try to unbox one, maybe two decks per wheel. Unless of course I get the intuitive hit to do a deck just spontaneously, which, let's face it, will happen. But I'm going to try and tone it down as much as possible so that I can really unbox it and then get to know it. Last year I unboxed the Lynn Strider, and I said that I would be working with that in the Litha period because it felt like a Litha deck, and I still hold fast to that. So I'm going to be pulling that one out of its box and working with it for the transition between Litha and Lunasa. So keep an eye out for some pickies of that one. I'm really curious to see how it reads. And yes, and then of course I'm very much looking forward to March, April, May. I get to play with some of my most favourite decks at that time of the year. Alrighty, so the Mystic Faerie Tarot is by Linda Ravenscroft, and the guidebook is by the lovely Barbara Moore. Now this is the full pack, 78 cards, a 312-page guidebook, and there's a gold orangey bag. Let's see it. Aha! Oh, I remember you. I've got one of you from the Llewellyn Tarot. Isn't it funny? The Llewellyn Tarot, beautiful deck by the way. Whenever I photograph that deck or show it, people ask me what the name of the deck is, and I write the Llewellyn Tarot, and they're like, no, the name of the deck. And I'm like, the name of the deck is the Llewellyn Tarot. So I'm really not happy with the name of that deck for the confusion that it can cause. Okay, so here is the guidebook. Glossy cover, 300 plus pages as discussed. Okay, the one thing that I do like about Barbara Moore's guidebooks is that she does quite a bit of information, and she gives a good thumbnail as well. So she'll give you a black and white representation most of the time. The one thing that she doesn't give you, and I better check in this one here to make sure that that is in fact true. She doesn't exactly give you a reversed meaning. She gives you an option to include information, but she doesn't actually list it as reversed meaning. So there is information in her write-up of each card that would suggest a negative to that card or a negative interpretation for that card, but it's not specifically placed under reversed. She doesn't really do reversed cards all that much, if at all. I don't think I've ever seen her do one. I can't think in my mind right now. So we have these black and white interpretations. It's Roman numerals from the looks of things. Yes, it's Roman numerals. Now, one complaint that I have seen across the board about this is the borders, but there have been people that have said that the borders are so ornate they become part of the artwork, and there are others that say it's just too busy, it's just too, it eclipses everything, and then you get sort of everything looks the same by the end, you know. But I think when it comes to things like that, those little idiosyncrasies of a card or a deck, it's up to you to decide if you like it or not, because I'm not a lover of borders, but I've seen some beautiful decks with beautiful borders and I haven't minded. And, you know, and non-reversible backings are something that can really irritate me as well. But then again, I've seen some beautiful decks that don't have non-reversible backings and I've still loved them. So it comes down to your experience, your personal approach with that deck. So don't, you know, don't get too stuck in your ways. There's a lot of glare coming off my glasses. Oh my god, I can't see without them, but I'll take them off. I'll take them off, which means I'll squint a little bit. Okay, so there's the guidebook. a bit on that. I don't need to go too much into the guidebook, right? So, do you have a zooty? See, this is exactly when I need my glasses. You do. Here's the backing. There we go, that's the backing. Stock is good. Oh, fairies clever, fairies bright, from garden, wood and pond, you shed your glorious light. Many thanks for helping me find a path that's true and right. It's a fairy farewell. Fairy greeting. Fairies clever, fairies bright, from garden, wood and pond, guide my thoughts, guide my sight. Please help me find the answer on a path that's true and right. Lovely. Okay, so we have these two little fairy blessings, one in greetings, one in farewell. And let's have a bit of a look. So the borders are a gold. There's a gold border. This is the full card. And so you've got a border there. You've actually got a multiple border thing going on here because you've got the drawn border, the ornate border, and then you've got that gold sort of edge around. So you've got a multi-border scenario here, which is not everybody's cup of tea. I actually think it's pretty. I think it works. I think it's pretty. So this is the Magician. I'll walk you through the entire mages. I like this priestess. I like the feathers in her hair. I like the fact that she is barefoot. I like the fact that she's cross-legged. I like the fact that she's, you know, depicted in green. There's an earthy, but still a moon element to it. Or to her. The Empress, gorgeous as per usual. I love a busty Empress. I really do. I love a busty Empress. I love vibrant colours. When the Empress appears with, you know, heavy lashings of deep orange, like this one, for instance, I love that. That's one of my favourite colours, is this deep earthy orange. I really like this one. It's funny because when I think of the Empress, and I consider that my home is encompassed by Empress energy, it's skirted, I should say, outside speaking, it's very vibrant, it's very green, and it's very rich, and I look at it as tropical because I live in the tropics. However, this is a much more harvest type. She has corn and everything looks slightly drier. It doesn't look as vibrant and moist as you know, as the environment around me. So we have the Emperor here, and he has his horns. I love a horned emperor. I do love a horned emperor. I love the symbolism of the horn, and I could talk about that for ages actually. The priest. So we have the Hierophant card, and the Hierophant card is beautiful. Yay! They're all sitting on pedestals. This is reminding me a bit of the Silver Witchcraft, which I had a little bit of a problem. Not all of them, oh, some of them. The Lovers. Oh, that's a gorgeous Lovers card. Head buried in the bosom. It's quite sensual, really, when you think about it. You'd be hard pressed to find a Lovers card that wasn't a little bit like, you know what I mean? We have the Chariot here. There is quite the sense of power to the Chariot card. I like it. It's got this element of victory and control. is the Strength card. This is a beautiful Strength card. I understand the symbolism of the lion in the Strength card, and I love it. You know, the lion, it's a very powerful creature. But I do like the dragon. I do like the dragon in this particular image, and I think it says something. I would like to have seen this dragon as bigger though. That's my one remark. A bigger, bolder dragon. She, the character in this card, looks like she eclipses, or she's about the same size. Here we have the hermit, which is cool. I would have liked to see some splashes of colour on those mushrooms. That's just me. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. She's got a tricksy look about her, this Fae. We have Justice here. The original symbolism for justice is there. The Hanged Fae, so for the Hanged Man. I don't quite like that one, sorry. I got lost in it for a little bit. Gotta look hard at the death cards sometimes. Well, most of them you do. Temperance. And then we have the Devil, looking very Krampus here. And then the Tower, which appears to be striking an oak tree. I assume it's oak, although it could be elder or ash as well. Star. Le Moon. I like the inclusion of the wolf there. Very nice. Very nice. I accept. And the scorpion is still in the background. The scorpion, but the crab, the lobster. I was looking for the universal word for it up here. They're crayfish. Lobsters, they're crayfish. And then we have the sun, which is very radiant and yellow. Judgment. The traditional judgment horn is there. The reckoning. And then the world card, which is interesting. It's a mirrored image. It depicts a sense of duality. Ivy, rose. Don't love it. Don't love it. Alright, so Ace of Wands is a really beautiful card. It's got a lot of fire to it. This is an interesting Five of Wands. Eight of Wands. It's youthful, the suit of Wands, I feel. Ten of Wands. Interesting. Binding the Beast, maybe? Interesting. The Knave. So the pages of the knaves here. Knight, Queen, King. Ace of Cups. The Two of Cups. This is really beautiful. Seven of Cups. Ten of Cups. And then here's the Knight. Did they do that? The Knights are female. It's funny, I didn't really look that closely at the Knight of Wands, but then I looked quite closely to the Knight of Cups and noticed that she was female. King of Cups. Then we have the Ace of Swords. The Three of Swords. I don't think that does enough for the Three of Swords, really. I don't think that conveys quite enough sorrow. There is sorrow there, but you have to really look at it. It's not the thing that stands out the most. The thing that stands out the most are the flowers and the border, of course, because there's quite a few of them. It's not 100% bad, but it doesn't deliver the message that I personally would like to pull from that card. And I don't necessarily think it would be that easy for a beginner to read the true crux of the Three of Swords. Personal perspective only, though. Four of Swords. Five of Swords here. This is an interesting Five of Swords. Six of Swords. Seven of Swords. Interesting. Interesting. Is she pulling the magic from the flower? We'll see. We'll have to see in the guidebook. The Eight of Swords, one of my favourite cards. She is bound by thorns. No. Look at the 8 and the 9 there. Too similar. Too similar. Yes, it's a progression. Yes, I understand this, but it didn't need to be that. And then come through with the 10. Now the difference in the 10 is that the thorns are pointing in and causing harm. Could have been much better than that. Could have been much better than that. We have the knave. Actually, the court suit is really beautiful. The knight is very beautiful. The knight is more beautiful, I believe, than the queen. And then we have a basket of bounty for the Ace of Pentacles. So we have resources depicted in the aspect of food and prettiness and pretty earthiness. Two of Pentacles. Three. A practical working aspect to this element. Fruit and baskets and things of that nature are prevalent. Here we have the Five of Pentacles with empty baskets. and the Six of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles. Quite the craftsman, isn't she? Then a Nine of Pentacles. Here's the 10. The Knave is quite young here. The Knight. And then the King and the Queen. There we go. That banging that you hear, that's my daughter on the glass. Cool. So that is most of the deck. I took you through for a full walkthrough of the Major Arcana, and then I just had a brief flick through the minors. What I did find is that I didn't 100% love the suit of swords, and I found that the suit of earth, is it coins or pentacles? I don't even recall. Look at that. Yeah, it's pentacles. The suit of pentacles really heavily focused on food and harvest. Harvest was the aspect of resource. And I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. The Ace of Wands was my favourite ace, just off the bat. And but overall, I found that there was a veil of subdued over the cards themselves. I tend to go for, this would have been a beautiful deck if those colours were just like really vibrant and bursting, but there is a veil over that, and it feels like the intensity of the artwork is being held back somewhat by that veil, which is a little bit fitting if you wanted to get a little bit, you know, if you wanted to really start to analyse that, you could say that that is the veil. It's up to you. That's what I thought anyway. I'm just like, oh, there's a lot, it's being held back a bit, you know. Some of the images are really, really quite beautiful. I really got quite disappointed with the 8, 9 and 10 of swords. Not so much the 10, but the 8 and 9. They were just far too close. And yes, I understand it's a progression. I do know this. But come on. Come on. A little bit of something different. You know, bring something different into the mix. But they are my initial first impressions. My unboxing and my first impressions. Oh, here is the baggie. Here is El Baggie that you get with it. And it's a beautiful deck. I mean, there is definitely a place for it. There is definitely a place for it. And it's for a warmer time of the year. I don't think that necessarily it's the right deck for this particular Litha period. Maybe towards the end of Litha, sort of to the Lammas side of things, where everything does tend to dry out just a smidge more. Maybe it's for a winter, or maybe it's for, I don't know, a drier time. It feels like a drier deck. It doesn't feel as plentiful as some of my other fairy decks. My other fairy decks feel warm and juicy, and this one feels a little bit more dry. And so a dry time of the year perhaps for this particular deck. But I'm happy that I unboxed it, because then I got to see it for myself. I've been seeing images of this deck everywhere, and they go up and down in favour, of course, and I just needed to make my own mind up about it. And I'm not terribly disappointed with it. I actually think that it's a really beautiful deck. I think it's a different deck. I think it's different to all my other fairy decks. But yeah, but I wouldn't exactly call it a favourite just yet. And of course, none of this means anything, really. The final conclusion can be made only when the deck has been read with. You know, this is all just first impressions. So when I read with it, I will let you know more about it, how it reads, what its style is. Does it have a strong voice? Does it have a tricksy voice? Does it have a comical voice? I mean, you never know. It really comes down to how a deck is read. And I have changed my mind about so many decks, good and bad, because of the way that a deck reads. So let's see how this one reads later on down the track. So guys, that's it. The Mystic Fairy Tarot by Linda Ravenscroft, text by Barbara Moore. Enjoy it and take care.